Travel, the tips, the tricks. As far as the Far East, closest to the Caribbean, Europe, even the United States. Today, my guest today is Dennis Snyder from Travel Innovations. He happens to be the president and co-owner of the agency. Last year, I went on a cruise, 8 days, 7 nights, to the Caribbean, from St. Thomas, Antigua, Martinique, Barbados, and other various islands, and I had a ball. I brought him onto the show today to basically express his knowledge of travel. How do you get away with certain things? How do you book early and save versus waiting at the last minute? Let's give him a warm welcome. Thank you for coming on board. I want to thank you for booking that celebrity cruise line with me and flying me down there. I had a ball. Tell me, when it comes to travel, is it better to book early or late?
Well, there has to be a fair median. Not too early, because sometimes if you book 4 or 5 months in advance, well, sometimes in some cases 6 months in advance is a little too far in advance. Sometimes the prices are higher too far in advance. So the object is to keep it within about 3 to 4 months of when you would like to go on your trip is a fair time to start booking your trip. If you do it too far out, you're not giving the airlines or the cruise companies or whoever you're dealing with time to prepare for that period of time that they're having. So it's hard to say. If it's too far out, the price is still going to be too high. But if you wait too soon, as you know, the prices are also high again. So I'd say about 3 to 4 months if you want to start planning a 2-week vacation. I'd give it 3 or 4 months is a fair time when you're going to find your best deals.
I'm hearing these things about air travels and passenger bill of rights. What is a passenger bill of rights about?
Well, the passenger has the right to be on the plane, obviously. That there are certain restrictions, like, for example, if you want to bring a dog on your plane, it protects you from things like that.
Let's say an airline decides that mostly airlines tend to overbook, and I got bumped off my seat involuntarily.
Mm-hmm.
How am I compensated?
Usually you get a free ticket.
And if I don't?
And an upgrade. And if you don't, you write a letter, and then you'll usually get a free ticket and an upgrade.
You think that's very effective?
That's usually quite effective. But when the better part of dealing with a travel agent when booking a trip like that is that versus doing a trip by yourself is that you're protected. For example, that in instance when that does happen, if you book that trip yourself, you really don't have a leg to stand on. However, if you book that trip through an agency and you explain to them what happened, they can contact their people at the airlines directly and make sure that you're compensated.
Let's say I'm bumped off the last flight leaving from New York going to San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
Does the airline itself put me up in a hotel at their expense and they put me on the first plane the following day? Is that how it works?
Yes, usually.
That's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
On an airline, I know that there are many airlines who are competing with fares.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that I can look 6 months before and see a low fare, then look 3 months later, it goes up, but then like a month later, for the same day, the fare goes down? Why is that fluctuation?
Supply and demand is basically it. The supply and demand theory comes into effect when dealing with airline tickets. Sometimes what'll happen is, that's why I was telling you before that 3 or 4 month period. If you're doing it too far out, you're going to pay the higher fare because they're not prepared. In some cases that I found, that usually waiting to maybe a month or so before your trip, you can really find some phenomenal deals because maybe they didn't sell all of the available space at the rate that they were paying with that 2-month period. Whereas the last month they'll say, oh gee, we have an extra 100 rooms, or we have an extra 100 cabins, or we have 100 extra seats, whether it be your hotel or whatever it is that you're going on. So at the last minute they'll want to give you a great deal to get people to say, you know what, let's spend $500 and spend the weekend in the Caribbean.
And they'll do it.
And they'll do it.
I've been hearing, well, I've seen and heard this big rage about Priceline, that you could go bidding on airline tickets at the last minute. What's the ups and downs about that?
I think it's quite ridiculous, quite frankly. If you're going online and spending several hours of your time looking to save $75, what is your time really worth? If you have the time to go and submit a quote and wait for it to get it back and reply and take it back again, to save, you know, a couple of bucks versus using a travel agency, then go ahead. You know, why should you have to do all that work? Particularly on my website now, you can get those quotes instantly. My website is, I'm trying to do something different in the industry now, of showing people what I have available. In certain instances,
even up to the last minute, because I visited your website, which it's the web address is www.tiitravel.com, and if you go, you can get an instant quote. And up to the minute of the available seats that are there, even at the last minute.
Yes.
If there are seats there, to make sure that the flight is not overbooked, that I've done.
Right.
And also get a personal attention.
Right. There are two ways to do it.
Actually, yeah, two ways to do it. Or else get a personal quote and deal with a travel specialist, which your website is the only one apparently that does it, because I went to lewisfair.com, onetravel.com, cheaptickets.com, Priceline. I went to another several, Expedia, and none of them give me the opportunity to do one or the other. And yours is only the instant. Instantly, I can find out if there is a seat without being overbooked on it. I think that's wonderful, because I would hate to buy a ticket and come out and find out, go to the airport, there's nothing there available.
Right. Well, there's also ways, once you've booked the ticket on the site now, you can check your available reservation and make sure the flight is on time before you leave.
And with the other websites, I did check that, and there was nothing on that.
No.
Once I booked these flights, I would either have the option to get what's called an e-ticket or a paper ticket. What is the difference and what's the advantages?
The advantages to electronic ticket versus a paper ticket is, well, electronic ticket, you're showing up at the gate and saying, hi, I'm Dennis Snyder, I'm on this flight, and you show them identification. With a paper ticket, you're going through the hassle of getting to the paper ticket, still going to the counter and saying, hi, I'm Dennis Snyder, I'm on this flight, and handing them a ticket. So it's a personal preference. Some people feel more secure, you know, being in the taxi on the way to the airport, knowing that the ticket's in their hand, versus some people, you know, might have a fear that when they get to the airport, it won't be there.
Why is it that when you book a flight, when you call the airline to actually request a certain seat, they either tell you it's too early, or the seats are not taken at that fare? What is that little thing they have going?
No, the seats available are the seats available.
Right.
Once a ticket has been booked, there are some seats that are available, because obviously if it's booked out in a period of time, there are seats that are held on reservation. In other words, they didn't actually book the ticket. There's three ways to look at the available seats on a plane. What's been reserved, what's actually been booked, and what's still available.
Let's talk about cruise lines.
Okay.
Personally, I love cruise lines. Went to Celebrity last year through your agency, and I enjoyed myself. The flight down there was pleasant through American Airlines. We went first class. Being Celebrity Cruise Line, being a 5-day cruise line, there are many options within a cruise line that you have, whether it's a 3, 4, 5, 7, 10, 11, 14-day cruise line. What's the benefit of going on a cruise line versus just flying to one destiny?
Well, you get the whole total package. You're getting everything from soup to nuts and cocktails in between. Your port charges are taken care of, and you're seeing different areas. It's a personal preference. Some people feel that when they go on a trip, if they're going to 3 different islands, they feel like they achieved more on their vacation.
You get more for nothing.
You're getting more for your money, yeah, sure. And also with cruises, everything's taken care of. You're not required to carry cash on board, so you don't have to worry about, leaving your wallet out by the pool, or, and everything's taken care of. And you have various different restaurants on the ship, as everyone knows, and if you're going to multiple destinations, you're getting different gifts from different towns,
On the cruise line, or even when you go fly on the airport, you have to get a passport when you fly internationally or international waters. Explain to the viewers why having a passport is a benefit versus not having one.
Well, there are some really tropical destinations that you never know what might happen. Let's say, for example, you go to Martinique and you get in a taxi and he accidentally takes you to the wrong side of the island. It's happened, and by chance you miss the ship, or God forbid anything should happen. If you're not in your home country, you want to be able to make sure that you're protected as an American citizen.
When you fly abroad and you're at specific, like say the Far East, some of these countries require you to get immunization shots. Why is that?
Well, you don't want to catch a strange illness that's going on as a result of whatever their economy is bringing them in those places. You're protecting yourself. There are different atmospheres, there are different bacterias, and basically you don't want to bring anything new into the United States, and why should you come down with a virus that's going to keep you out of commission for a few months?
When an individual decides to travel, what, in your opinion, what are the best places to go? What time of year?
Oh, it depends on the person. I like to say that Earth is a beautiful place, and people should see more of it. Depending on each person's preference. There are some wonderful, I've been to Africa. That's a wonderful, beautiful place.
Oh, that's my next destination.
There's, you could go to Alaska. Alaska's a wonderful place. Anywhere throughout the United States. It depends on what the person wants, what kind of climate they want to be in, and what they're looking to achieve on their vacation.
And on a cruise line, basically you can see the world.
Sure.
But do you think that'll be your best bet if you go versus cruises versus checking in a hotel?
No, because you can still get tour, land, and air packages. You don't necessarily have to be on a cruise. You can still put a package together where maybe you're going to a place that doesn't have water. So you can still put packages together, which is usually the best way to travel because it's already done, you're there, you can relax.
When it comes to cruises, when you say everything's included besides your port taxes, that includes your meals, domestic beverages, activities, port of calls,
sure.
Everything.
You can have that also, on land packages as well. You don't necessarily have to be on a cruise to get a whole vacation package. Some places I've put people in the Four Seasons hotels. You can literally go from hotel to hotel chain on a particular tour.
When it comes to hotels, I know basically because I love traveling to Cancun, Mexico. And Cancun, Mexico has 2 plans. The American plan, what they refer to, because Americans, and the European plan. Explain to us what's the difference between American and the European plan.
Well, it's a different country, obviously, so there are different rules and regulations that apply when going to Mexico. So that's where that comes into play. They're not just coming to the United States, or they may just be going through the United States to get to Mexico. So they're pretty tricky about that. They like to finagle down there.
Let's say you go to an all-inclusive resort. When you go to an all-inclusive resort, what does that include?
It depending on the particular package that you took. Sometimes you have to be careful when you're booking a package like that. Sometimes people go down there and it's all-inclusive, but then they sit down at the bar and they have a few drinks and they're getting a $100 tab. So you have to make sure when somebody says all-inclusive or they're proposing all-inclusive, there's usually a specific list of what it is including. So make sure that you're looking and making sure that everything that you want is included in that all-inclusive. And if it's not, usually you can work what you want into it. They're pretty flexible if you're willing to pay it up front.
Do you recommend for someone to look into more for an all-inclusive, they're going to get more for their money versus a non-inclusive plan?
You probably get more for your money on an all-inclusive plan. This way when you're on your vacation, you can use your other available funds to do things, get a special gift for yourself or do something special. Knowing that it's taken care of when you go on vacation is usually why you can enjoy your vacation better. Because let's face it, when we're away on vacation, we don't want to have to think about our money and our home and our cars and or whatever it is. We're away to enjoy ourselves. So why not get it out of the way and know it's taken care of before you get there?
Let's say I'm planning a vacation and I want to pick a good hotel. There's this rating system that you guys use, the 3-star, 4-star, 5-star hotel. Who actually determines the quality of the hotels given this star rating?
There are a few various different companies that do that. I particularly, my 24-hour organization, because my company is a 24-hour business through another affiliated company called Thor, and I have a rating system through their hotels, and AAA might do it. There are hotel index guides, and basically by the services that they're offering. You can tell a 4-star hotel just by, looking, reading the services that they have to offer.
When you stay at a hotel, or whether it's a cruise line or something, I know there's a gratuity. How do you determine what to tip the chambermaid, the stewardess on the cabin, your waiter, your busboy? Who determines that, or do we determine that on our own, or is there a...
You determine that on your own. That's where personal generosity comes into play.
But what is actually the standard, what you would consider the standard?
Well, depending on the size of the room, how many people are staying in the room, how bad you are, how long does the maid actually have to clean up after you every day? I mean, I know some people that go on vacation, and believe it or not, they get up the next morning and they still make their own bed in the hotel. So depending...
Force a habit.
Right. Depending on, what it is that, you feel, when you go to a restaurant. If you order cocktails and the bill comes, of course you're going to leave more money. But if you don't, of course you're going to leave less money, because it's less service.
A vacation package. Describe what an ultimate vacation package would consist of.
Your land, your air, your ground transportation, your meals in various restaurants. Sometimes on an all-inclusive package, it'll say that you have to eat at the same restaurant every day, and why would you want to do that on a vacation? So that's another little trick that you have to look around. Make sure that if they're including your meals on a trip, that you're not eating at the same restaurant every day, that maybe they give you 3 or 4 restaurants to pick from.
Why should I consider, in doing all my reservations, whether it's air, hotel, cruise line, vacation packages, through a travel agency versus doing it on my own and contacting the different hotels and airline and cruise lines?
Because you're protected.
How?
For example, as we mentioned before, when you go to the airport and you suddenly get bumped off the flight and they're not giving you any information, your travel agency can handle that. You get down to your hotel. Suddenly there was a fire in the hotel. You don't know where to stay. You can call your travel agent right there and have another hotel. You're just protected. Let's say versus you lose your ticket on a trip. You book that ticket yourself. How are you going to get a new ticket? So there are certain things. It's a safeguard.
When you travel abroad, money versus bringing traveler's checks. What are the benefits of having traveler's checks versus over money?
I'd say bring a fair amount of both.
Why?
To protect yourself once again. If that's where all-inclusive packages come in, you don't typically have to carry that much cash. But you know, if you do find a particular item, if you go, I know you bought that painting.
Oh, yes, on the cruise line. Beautiful painting.
You know, there are certain things that come up that are fairly expensive, and you want to make sure that if it's really something that you like, that you're available to take it.
You being president of Travel Innovations, been in business for over 10 years and very successful, almost 10 years, being successful at it. What does your agency itself have to offer our viewers?
Well, we offer a whole plethora of services, from doing personal vacation planning, all-inclusive packages. We also do executive travel planning for corporations, doing group trips for companies, maybe sales incentive meetings, training seminars in nice places. You know, usually they want to go someplace warm like Cancun or Florida, or as a matter of fact, I just did one meeting in Cancun, one meeting in Florida. So we have the ability, our particular agency, by having the corporate affiliation, that we're able to pass our corporate discounts on to our personal travelers as well.
How do you see the internet playing its role against the travel agency, the traditional travel agency, people going online and booking?
I think it's a good thing. With my particular website, you know, occasionally you would have a customer when planning a vacation, and you know they're planning their 2-week dream vacation, and they find out it's going to cost them $5,000–6,000. But yeah, you're asking for the manicure and the spa and the facial every day. Of course, it's going to come out to that. Some people would call the travel agent and say, "Oh, your job is easy. I don't know why I'm going to use you anyway." I basically, with my particular website, utilize the services that I use as an agency and put it right there for my customers to see exactly how I'm doing my job. So if they want to go and help themselves, go and help yourself, and, you know, see what's available out there. If you want somebody to plan, you know, a professional trip, a well-done trip, an all-inclusive trip that's going to put your mind at rest on your vacation, then I suggest using your travel agent.
I went to your website, www.tiitravel.com, and I fudged around. I compared it to the other 5 that I've mentioned. I found your site to be easier in the sense of there was nothing to fill out if I didn't want to fill out. There were travel deals there. There was a place called Market for the corporate company.
Yeah,
you can download a proposal of what you, in writing, what you had to
there
offer.
There are certain, with executive travel services, I can basically, with my accounting system, that if you're a corporation, of course, you have 10, 15 people in your company traveling on a constant basis, that there are certain reports that I can fill out that match up with your accounting reports to make your, so you can get the best deal out of your travel budget.
There's even a tab on your website that was called Tools. That I've got everything from map directions around the world,
weather forecasts,
to see weather forecasts, to see
currency conversion.
Yeah, exactly, currency conversion, which is very, very, very helpful. There was even a tab called E-Specials, your last-minute deals, that I basically booked 1-2 months ago at the last minute to do it. It was over the weekend, and it was a great thing. You guys update that on a weekly basis, correct?
On a weekly basis. As we mentioned before, sometimes those last-minute deals do come up, where, for example, we have one right now. It's $2.99 for 4 days on Carnival Cruise Lines. I got that last week. It's up on the website this week. So yeah, once a week I try to put, you know, something special on there for that quick, because sometimes we just need to get away.
Oh, believe me, we do need to get away. You also have basically your car rentals. Viewers can actually view the site again. It's www.tiitravel.com. You can rent cars through there.
Sure.
They want personal agent, personal person attention.
That's
they
where
can
our
actually
corporate
call.
discount comes into play for people that are maybe just using it for maybe they need a car for a week. They can check the available, what it's going to cost them for the car and everything, and get that information instantly.
Even if a company basically wants to view the site, and you can even actually help any major companies. What are your major clients? Some of your major clients?
Oh, we have many major clients from pharmaceutical companies, Fortune 50 pharmaceutical companies. We handle several investment banks, accounting firms, several of them. American Lung Association, ATS, they're having a merger right now, so they have lots of meetings where they travel away. Pfizer Pharmaceuticals, the whole plethora of well-traveled people.
And these clients themselves that you have basically on the internet and do their own bookings as well through there, because you have a corporate.
They do both.
Okay.
They come to us, they speak to us personally, and sometimes with that they'll have 10 people that go on a trip, and they know exactly what flight they're going on. So it's good if you know what flight you want and what time you want to leave. You can just go in, push a couple of buttons, and voila, you'll have your tickets booked through Travel Innovations.
And you even mentioned before the show, we had taken a look at your website, that some of these companies that actually do their corporate travel through you, some even their personnels, actually, their own employees go there and they do their own reservations that way you utilize your service.
Yeah, they're usually so impressed with the high level of service that they're getting on their executive meeting that they always come back and say, can you do a vacation for us? So happy to do things like that.
So from anywhere from airline travel to cruise, vacation packages, last minute deals, up-to-date currency exchanges, driving directions, government warnings in other countries.
I have a department that handles each and every one of those issues. We have last-minute issues, corporate issues.
Which is great. I want to thank you for joining our show. Thank you very much. If you want to get in contact with Travel Innovations, their number is 1-888-321-2949, and their website is www.titravel.com. And thank you, Dennis Snyder, for joining our show.
Thank you.
Good night.